you, Linda, for following this. And joining us now for more on the latest on Charlie Kirk's assassination is criminal defense attorney and former Manhattan prosecutor Jeremy Saland. Jeremy, thanks for joining us. Let's start with what Robinson's facing. So he was arrested on suspicion of aggravated murder, felony discharge of a weapon causing serious bodily injury, and obstruction of justice. So walk us through those if you can.
Yeah, I think you have to start, obviously, with the aggravated murder charge, because that's how that Utah, which is a state charge, not a federal charge, that is how that they get to the capital punishment, which is the potential for a death penalty. I believe Utah is one of 27 states that allows this. And the theory there is that we had an intentional murder, but also in doing so, when he fired that gun at Charlie as alleged, that he caused a great risk of death to other people. And as you know, this was in an environment on a campus with a lot of students, people immediately nearby that could have been struck and possibly killed. So that could likely be one of their theories to get it just from a regular murder to this aggravated murder to get over that hump for the capital punishment. The other charges are significant too, but they don't rise to that level. But for example, discharging the firearm at somebody or in their direction, knowing that you can endanger them. That is that other statute that you're going to hear about more in terms of the felony charges. But those are the two big ones, but the aggravated murder is the top.
That's the top one. Yeah, now we've seen some of the evidence too released by officials. You know, we've seen the video, the still pictures, the weapon, the messages on the bullet casings. Linda was just mentioning the Discord messages. So will this make the prosecutor's job any easier?
Yeah, it's all about corroboration. Sometimes corroboration could come in the form of DNA or fingerprints, for example. There could be something on that firearm. It could come in the form of an admission to a family member, which we're learning about if true. It could form in his own statements on Discord. Those all things help as well. But if you can tie back that he etched something in those casings, and you're establishing the intent, you're establishing the motive, and you're linking him back, then you throw in the imagery that you have, for example, the surveillance and the gray, I believe it was a Dodge Charger that was nearby the scene that he supposedly owns. There's so much that point to him that make this not just a circumstantial case, but you get that direct evidence. Makes it much stronger for the prosecution.
And those suspicion of aggravated murder charge, we mentioned it carries a possibility of the death penalty. Do you think Robinson cooperates to try to spare his life? Can that spare his life?
Well, when you think about cooperation, we think about what are you going to do to potentially alleviate the pain that a family went through when they want to come to a resolution. Are you going to shed light on other criminality, equal if not worse than yours? That likely is lacking here, and it seems on its face that it would be. And I will say again, it's a state charge, so it's not a federal charge. We hear the president potentially saying we want this person, to be held accountable. But even on the state level, usually more often than not, that's how you deal with the prosecutors. And I would say that there's something lacking here that would lead me to believe that they're going to cooperate him, or he's going to come forward and say, spare me. But there always is that possibility to take a plea in advance of a trial so that you avoid the death penalty.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll continue to help us out here. Jeremy Saland, thanks for joining us this afternoon. Now to other news now. Tennessee